Good morning. Good morning. Happy Friday, my people. Once again, this is Christian Martinez with Super Trucker Podcast, going live with good information for good people. So today's topic is actually going to be for my people who are just getting started. They're actually thinking about becoming, jumping into the trucking game. We do get questions from all spectrums, guys that have tons of experience and guys who are looking to get in. So we'll give it a minute, let people join the live, and we will get started. So once again, happy Friday. If you're out there, let us know where you're at. It's always good to share and see where my people are at. Here we go. Ariane, how you doing? Thanks for joining, man. Um, Thank you for joining. It is Friday, so I'm hoping everybody's getting that weekend load. Gonna keep you busy. That's the one that puts that money in that truck. So hopefully, everybody's getting unloaded right about now. In about 2 hours, head over to that reload and have your weekend plan buckled down and even hopefully get your Monday load ready. So I mean, if your dispatcher's that good, hopefully you're in that position. But if you're not, I actually got somebody that can put you in that kind of position. Just give me a call, 863-342-5171. So always willing to help and help you grow your business. That's what this is all about. All right, so Friday game time. All right, just giving it a few for a couple more people to join, and then we can start the show. For those who have joined, please make sure you smash that like button, share, subscribe. Also, put these videos in front of fellow truckers. It's always important to get this information out there. The more participation we have, the better that this serves everybody. So, guys, make sure you're sharing this content. And remember, after 5 o'clock every day, you're gonna get a video from the Super Trucker Podcast on YouTube. Check it out. Tons of information there. Make sure you subscribe there as well, and we keeps this information coming out there. So the objective is to for this to benefit a lot of owner operators and the trucking community, actually. So good morning to all those who are joining. Once again, guys, this today's topic is going to be a little bit interesting, because it is about the guys that are thinking of jumping into trucking and getting that CDL, confused about that process a little bit. It will shed some clarity on that, and remember, the show is about giving good information to good people. There's a big spectrum of seasoned individuals, not so seasoned individuals, so a little bit of everything. And just putting hard facts in front of people is the name of the game, so that they can make the best decisions for themselves. And who's ever joined, I will be asking, hey, put it in the comments below. How did you get your CDL? What school did you go to? Was it self-paid, or did you go to a trucking school? Put that there so that we can share it with the community and shed some light on these guys. So, guys, I encourage you to please, please, please share this link. The more, the merrier. All right, give it a couple more minutes, and we will get started. All right, in the comments, Kim Kills, what type of equipment do we run? We actually run dry van. So actually, to learn more, my man, please give us a call, 863-342-5171. Got somebody on standby, can take your call. All right. No, no, no. We are not a dispatch service. What we do is all our guys do run under our authority. So we do dispatch our guys to get them premium rates and max out on their weekly gross. So you got very, very seasoned dispatchers making sure these guys are winning. So that's what we're doing. Okay. All right, guys. So we're gonna get started on today's topic. As most of you probably have read it, it's really about a lot of guys jumping into the market, thinking about getting their CDLs. I do get these phone calls. I'm getting them weekly. People are out there searching what they can do in order to get into this market and make some money. So the reality is this: there's really two options to get your CDL. This is for my people that are thinking about becoming truckers, right? So, so the two options are: you're either going to pay for your school yourself, right, or you're going to go to a big boy mega carrier that offers the school, and what they're going to do for you there is actually they're going to pay for it for you, and you just kind of got to work it off. So the contracts might be 6 months to a year, whatever it may be. They're going to regulate the home time for sure. They're going to have all of that for you. So here we go. So the reality behind this is going to be the following: we got to start in that beginning. So one of the things in the beginning is going to be this. It's going to be considering the fact that you're either going to pay for yourself, and what does that come with. So if you're going to be paying the school yourself, you have to understand, why are you going that way, right? And or what is your financial situation, uh, and maybe you don't have that money. So that's why that CDL school would benefit you there. So the idea is, we back up a little bit and start in that beginning, where why are guys looking, right? And why do guys get confused a little bit when they finally, get their CDL on their own, and they hit that roadblock, they hit that wall where a lot of companies aren't hiring them. And it's a little confusing because everybody is talking about driver shortage. Everybody is talking about the neon lights out there is like driver shortage. There's no drivers. So you go out there, you pay for your own school, you get your CDL, only to find out a lot of people aren't hiring you, and you're spending time calling carrier after carrier after carrier, and it's kind of like, man, like already I'm getting burnt by this. I see it all over the place. Everybody needs hired. There's ads everywhere, but just nobody is hiring. So the idea is that's really just an illusion. There is no real driver shortage. Why you see that is because in this industry there is going to be that high turnover rate. So what happens with that high turnover rate? It's because people are out there. However, they're looking for the individuals with caliber, looking for the individuals that have that work ethic, the discipline, and can have some accountability. That's the shortage. Uh, you know, but when you're signing up for this, most people just think like, man, as long as I make this phone call, I'm good. So it's deeper than that. So the first thing is that there's no real driver shortage where, all right, man, you got your CDL, you paid for it on your own, and then you think that the phone is going to start ringing. So it doesn't work that way. So there's two approaches that you can do to this. I really think they're both valuable. It just depends on your personal scenario, and that's gonna, but you got to be honest with yourself, and then that is going to help you make your next decision whether you're going to go to a mega carrier or whether you are actually going to go ahead and pay for it for yourself. So those are the two things that you want to consider. Now, one of the things, like, why would somebody go private, right? They're gonna like the freedom to go work wherever you want, and you can move around if you don't like a company, and you can just switch to somewhere else. You're not held hostage to that company for 6 months to a year. So that's that way. However, don't drink the Kool-Aid. That's not the reason you should be doing it, because let's not masquerade that freedom with being effective, because you shouldn't jump into this to be job hopping. You got to give anything that you're doing that good opportunity. So that should not be the reason. One of the things that I would suggest somebody to go private is, let's say you're in the line, family members, your tight circle is in trucking, and somebody in that trucking can in that trucking network of yours can actually offer you a job. So your job's already lined up, right? They're willing, they can do that. They will approve you. There are a couple things that you can do in order to make sure that you're ahead of the game, right? You can pull your motor vehicle abstract. You should know what that driving record looks like, so there are no surprises, right? The last thing you want to find out is that there's a careless or something like that on there that maybe you thought was off and it isn't, and now they can't make the deal, and you do all of these things, and then you find out that these guys can't onboard you. But nevertheless, so if you come from that kind of network, that job is lined up, that's the perfect storm. That's the perfect scenario where now going to this private way would be a better option for you, because that job is locked down. All you have to do is get that CDL, and it's plug and play. Um, so you know if you're that guy that's kind of, a little bit confused because you're seeing all this stuff on social media and everybody is hiring and everybody's telling you do it for yourself, you want that freedom, it's the better place to be. All right, cool. So let's do this. Do yourself a favor. I suggest that you start calling. You don't even have anything yet, right? You haven't attended one day of school, so you have nothing to lose right here. What I would suggest you start doing is actually start calling people, or not just people, but you're calling companies, and just play them the scenario. Hey, I just got my CDL. I'm looking to onboard. Would you hire me? What are the requirements? What's going on? What's this? And then you're going to start getting educated. You're going to start to feel what these guys are saying. So, for example, you're going to find out, hey, we can't take you. You're going to find out another person says, I need a little bit more experience. You're going to probably find out another person says, hey, I can only do that if you get your learner's permit through us. So now you start to walk that path, and then you're going to have a real idea of which way will be better for you. But you're doing the research as you go. So that's the important part for that. And then you have to ask yourself, how did that go? Because that challenge is going to be real anyway once you already have your CDL on your own. So again, I'm not saying it's a bad route. This is about sharing the information, putting it in front of you guys so that you can take facts and then apply them to your situation, and then see how it's going to work for you. Right, so that's one of the scenarios there. The other thing that we're talking about is getting your CDL training through a mega carrier. So why is that important, or why would that be a true benefit for you? It's you really have to look at your situation, right? If you're looking to make money, but you don't have money to get started, this could definitely be a great value to you, because it's a perfect way to start a career. And yes, they're helping you get started, but nothing is free, right? So you got to know that yes, they'll help you do that. However, they're going to want something in return. And because you're in that position, they're going to want more than just their money back for putting you through school. They're going to want to put you on the road. They're going to probably want you to be out there, let's say 4 weeks with 1 week home time. Does it sound like a lot? Yeah. However, I wouldn't just count the cost and and look at that in a negative way, right? What's the benefit? You get to jump into the frying pan and actually learn what that feels like. Because if your goal is to start your own trucking company at some point, and or become an owner operator, then that has tremendous value to you, because you're actually going to know exactly what that feels like. You're going to know what kind of discipline you will need to get that going. So that is not a negative situation. It's just your perspective on how you're viewing it, guys. You definitely want that opportunity, and take advantage of the opportunity so you can learn the most from it. So a lot of guys will say, yeah, but that's a lot away. That's a long time away from a family, and so forth. Yeah, but that's never going to change, right? So like that comes with trucking. So this is the perfect time to get exposed to that, because that is part of being successful. That will be part of your formula no matter what. Yes, at some point you can make some adjustments on your home time and all of that, but I think going to that school is going to expose you to the good and the bad, right? And then that's what this learning is about. So a lot of people that jump on that program, are searching social media, looking at all of that, and I do think you can get in your own head, and you're counting the cost before you even jump in. I think you should experience it and take those experiences and apply them to you and your scenario, and see how it can work out, and see how it can improve your situation. So that is the key to going to a mega carrier. The other thing that they're going to offer you is the value is actually, they got new equipment. They got already good safety programs in place. The good safety programs are going to teach you exactly what's important out there to keep your PSP clean. We actually did a video about PSP and how important it is, so make sure you check that video out as well. And you're going to learn a lot of the tricks of the trade. So so not necessarily is that bad. There is a value for that there, and again, you're giving up, so you're working for this company for set time. I really think that if you take advantage of what they're offering, it's not a bad gig. I'm not even going to tell you where you should go, whether which one is the best. That's for your research to determine on that. But I will say the opportunity in itself has a tremendous value for what's going to be coming next. So a lot of our owner operators, we kind of always swap stories, and share, share horror stories, good stories, and all that good stuff. And most of them have come from a big boy school. Not everybody comes from that, getting their CDL on their own. I think that was a lot more common back in the day, but it still exists. Again, it's all going to depend about your network. Always build on your network. You never know who you meet, and that opportunity is there. So that's one of the biggest things, guys, is to check on that, right? Um, and also, while you're going to these schools, the learner's permit. If you're going to go private, one of the things, or to a truck driving school, one of the things that I would say is get that learner's permit before you attend that school. I think that there's going to be a tremendous value to that, because what's going to happen is, yes, that CDL school can offer you, hey, get the permit here and all of that, and some guys need that assistance, right? But you can start advancing the progress of what you're doing, before you even get there. So I think it's going to hit different if you already show up and start taking classes with that learner's permit, right? You're probably on the road getting some real actual time behind the wheel with the instructor and so forth, as opposed to the other guy who's getting started and doesn't have that learner's permit. Plus, there's going to be a couple other things. Not, we're not all built the same. So there's times where you're going to find out when you're going to go get your learner's permit and you're doing that on your own. I think in Florida, it's probably like $75 or something like that to take that test, to get the permit. You're going to have to be, you're required to have a medical card. So now that you have that medical card, what's going to happen there is basically, you may or may not get it. There are some people who cannot get a medical card. So imagine that you do all this work, you're investing all this time, all this energy, only to find out that you can't actually get a medical card. So it's a good filtering process and system, especially if you're worried about that. So if that's a major concern, that could be the perfect avenue for you to get that done. And again, I'm just sharing ideas here. I'm not saying any which way is better. Just want to share the facts so that anybody who is in this position and is actually considering which way to go, has a little bit more real information in front of them, to get that done. So anybody in the comments there, where have how did you do it? Who went did you pay for your school on your own, or did you go to a mega carrier? Are there other values to going to a mega carrier, besides just the equipment and the safety team behind there, and all that good stuff? So please make sure you put that in the comments so we can, share that with individuals who are thinking about getting this done. Okay, go over some questions that these guys have been asking, that we've accumulated here. So, uh, you know, is this even worth it anymore? Everyone says trucking is dead. So trucking is not dead. That is not the situation. The situation is the following: is just perspective. It's going to be based on the individuals that are just, very surface level to the industry, and or again, it comes down to demeanor, what you're willing to bring to the table. What are you bringing to trucking? So what kind of value system are you bringing to trucking? Right. So it's supply and demand. That's all this industry is. Now imagine somebody's looking to get their CDL, and all they want to do is local, but has no real concept and looking for OTR money being local. Then that individual search, he's actually going to think, trucking's dead, because he has a misconception of what he has to bring to the table in order to reap the best benefit as possible. So no, trucking is not dead. Plenty of people out there being successful, living comfortable lives, and providing for their families. So trucking is not dead. Um, am I going to have $8,000 in debt just to get screwed over after training? Um, it depends on you, actually, because that outcome is going to depend on the individual, and what you do with your opportunities. So there are plenty of guys who have ponied up the 8 grand, have done it, and they are successful. But the difference is, you can't just take their outcome and make it yours, right? You got to bring something to the table. So you have some responsibility and accountability, uh, to make it work. In my mind, I would not have an option. Failure would not be an option for me. So, I wouldn't really worry about the 8 grand. I would just, everything has a risk. Anything that you're gonna do to have a decent reward or ROI requires risk. You play everything too safe, there's no reward. So no, there's no guarantee on that, but just your perspective on getting screwed. So what does that mean? I would like to know more about that. Is it because they didn't give you they didn't give you that home time you wanted? You feel screwed and you quit, and you go home. Well, I don't know. That shouldn't have been enough to break you, if that's the situation. Now, if you're not getting miles or something like that, that's a little bit different. But I would need to know more. All right. Do you honestly think I can make money as a new driver, or is it just recruiting talk? I do not think it's just recruiting talk. That's for sure. And I'm not saying that because I've done recruiting. I am saying it's really based on individuals. I think a lot of the times here when people are trying to learn from each other and learn about the industry, we're actually we're actually taking other people's outcomes and almost like we're almost thinking that that's going to be our outcome. We make their experience ours, and that's what you should not be doing that, right? Because there are going to be guys that will make money, and there's going to be guys that do not make money. But there are certain questions that you can ask in order to make money, right? uh, so for example, I would say, can I see your highest earners settlement statements? And then you have to know how to unpack that, right? So I wouldn't just look at the number and say, okay, look at the miles driven. Look at where he picked up and look at where, where his last load delivered for that period. You're going to probably notice that it wasn't home. You're going to see that he's on the road for how long. You're going to notice what it takes, but you have to look at the details because now it doesn't matter what the recruiter is telling you. You're looking at facts. You're looking at that sample settlement and you're looking at the miles. So if the guy is doing 3,200 miles, you now know it will take you a minimum of 3,200 miles. And you're going to look at what states the guy went to in order to accomplish those 3,200 miles. So I get it. Companies are a little bit different. Some of them are going to do that dedicated stuff like mega carriers and all of that. And some of them are going to be, what we do is spot here. So that's a little bit different. But at the end of the day, that's what you're digesting. That's what you should be looking at. That like what are you going to have to do to get your paycheck to look just like that individual? And then you're honest with yourself, and then say, hey, am I willing to do this? Right? And let's say you're a guy that wants to be home every weekend, right? I don't even know if that would be an option for a new guy, but still, let's say you're that guy, then go ahead and ask the recruiter that. Show me that settlement of the guy that is home every weekend. And what that's gonna do for you is you're going to see that guy's settlement and ask them for 2, 3 copies, the last 3 weeks consecutive. You will then have a great idea as to where you stand, regardless of how many YouTube videos there are out there, regardless of what the brochure says. That right there, my people, is going to be facts. So that's what I would suggest on that one. Uh, what's the real dropout rate for trucking school? People say most don't even finish. I mean, I know enough about this to get hurt. I'm not your, I don't run a school or anything like that, but I'm pretty sure the dropout rate is going to be pretty high. The reason is people underestimate the work that comes with getting that accomplished. Whether the recruiter's doing a nice job of just selling it. So irrelevant to that, I think some people miscalculate and misstep and think that it's probably going to be easier than it actually is. I kind of share a side story. I was actually up in Georgia, and we shared the building with CR England, and they actually have a school upstairs. And in that school, tenant, and so we had something to work out with the ops guy upstairs. So go upstairs, going down the hallway to for our meeting, and man, there was actually about 5 pods of people practicing backing outside, and in each pod was about 10 people, minimum 10 people per pod, and they're outside. You walk in, and there was just a room of everybody waiting to get medical cards, like 40 people. And then there's also, there was another room of like 50 people just taking the exam. And then he had his office, and there's a line of people outside. And then we sit down and we start talking, and so something must have happened, because he was like, excuse me for a second, and he brought in a young lady into his office. He didn't even ask me to leave, so I was just there. And he proceeds to talk to her about her her living quarters, right? They put him up in a hotel and they do all of that. So I won't even bore you with the story, what they were arguing about. But the point was, then he says, man, like this in itself is like a school. That in itself is another money generating thing that is a school. So it's not just about trucking. It's actually half of these people that won't make it, they got a bill. There's going to be money, they have to pay for that, whether, they make it or not. So I know he did mention, as long as they make it to a certain point, they get to charge a certain part. So I said all that to say, once that becomes a money making machine, it's just like any other school in college, right? There's no promises you're going to work in the field that you went to school for. Shit, I mean, like, here you go. My major is like what, economics, and I'm here doing trucking. So there's no guarantees. And I know there's a lot of people in my situation where their major says one thing, but their business card says another. So it is what it is, and then that's what happens. So I said all that to basically say, it is up to you whether you're going to finish it. It's going to be up to you how serious you are about it. So that dropout rate shouldn't even scare you. It's just, what are you trying to do, and what are you willing to do to accomplish your task? Okay. Why are some horror stories about training companies online? I guess because people are quick to share information, Google reviews, all that. I think we live in a world right now that everybody's really quick to put up their dissatisfaction about somebody else's service, and good people that are being successful typically are too busy being successful to leave up reviews, so that's not as common. Is that a flaw? Maybe, I don't know, in the system, but I think by nature, social media, it's going to gravitate to like, what's going to hit, right? What's going to search, right? Horror story or I'm successful. So I think that's why you're seeing more of those horror stories than actual stories about people winning, right? Um, can I really build a better life doing this, or is just another trap? No, no, for sure. I think you can build a better life. Because number one, if you're actually searching for a better opportunity, that's going to be the first step, whether you actually take it into trucking or to something different. So the first thing is to identify that you have to change yourself for your environment to change, right? So it's not going to happen the other way around, right? So the way you think has to change so that the things around you will. But there are plenty of successful owner operators who have actually, improved it, and their lives have changed. So it's not a trap. They started just like you did. They didn't just fall out of the sky, with a truck and a trailer. They took the steps that you're doing. Um, we got a comment line here. It says, "Whatever you do, if you go to a mega company, stay at least 6 months. Don't job jump. Get that experience at one company." Yeah, I would agree. I think you got to give it some time. I think you have to work out the wrinkles. I mean, trucking is trucking. Like, jumping from one company to the other, to your point, Klein, is not gonna. What's supposed to change? Loads are loads, miles are miles, trucks are trucks. What is supposed to change? So the idea is, like, what is it that you're concerned about, right? Give it time. That's the best thing that you can do, so that things start to align, your perspective starts to change, let things settle, and once they're settling, then you can start making some alterations and things of that nature. But I agree, you have to give it time. You have to let things unfold, so that you can be wiser to the game and go through those experiences. um, uh, we got a comment: should I self dispatch to start to get an idea of how it works? No, I think self-dispatching, like, is that's for another day. I don't think you should start considering those facts right now. I think getting the experience and the feel of the truck, and getting the miles under your belt safely, and going through different, seasons out on the road, going through those mountains in Virginia, West Virginia, all that good stuff. I think there's a lot to learn already. I wouldn't want to see anybody overwhelmed, and then ending up walking away from the game because of something like that. So I wouldn't necessarily be concerned about that just now. there's a lot of prerequisites or things you have to line up before you even get to that point. All right. So all right. So we got can trucking really change my life? I'm tired of struggling. Yes, absolutely. But just ask yourself, why are you struggling? What habits do you have? Like we just talked about that before. So look at your work ethic, look at what you're willing to do to make some money and change your struggle. So it's going to start with that. All right. Can I get my CDL with no money down? I heard some companies train for free. So, number one, nothing is free, my friend. So, there will be a cost, whether they sell it that way. But more than likely, you're going to see the deductions on your paychecks until you're paying that school back. However, if you're looking for no money down, right? You're in that position, then that is a value to you because you're in a hard spot, you're in a tight spot. So don't necessarily just think like, they're going to overcharge me. Because what's your other choice? Do nothing. And if you do nothing, nothing will happen. So don't let that be a discouragement, right? Look at it as a means to an end. It's a way to get started. Will it be a little more expensive than you would like? Yeah. But if you don't have the money to pay for it, then what, how many choices do you have? Right. So you're already in a position, and that position you're in pretty much sucks, right? So we all agree to that, right? Nobody wants to be in that position. But how do you make sure that you don't find yourself in these positions? Right. That's the idea. Some companies need you to drive for them for a year, and then the tuition is free. Yeah, I mean, they're going to set the standard because they're fronting the bill. So I mean, if that year doesn't sit well with you, then cool. Like, find that other company that's going to be a little bit less. Uh, Compare your two evils and pick one. But the idea is pick one. You have to do something to make a change. And quite frankly, like even if it is a year goes by so fast. There is a lot to learn from that. Just like my man client said over here, like 6 months at least. So obviously, there's a school that does it in 6 months. Um, but allow the process to happen. Like, why 6 months? Over a year. Like, what is the value of being able to have freedom in 6 months over a year, right? I would rather say, become a steward of it, learn the game as much as you can, take as much away from their safety team as you can, from their operations team as you can. You're building relationships with people around you, other drivers. Maybe if that company has some owner operators, you're talking to them and their experiences. So it doesn't just all have to be negative, right? Like, just the illusion to, like, okay, you can leave in 3 months, and that makes you feel better. But why? What is the reasoning behind that? Just because we have that freedom of, like, okay, I can go where I want, but wherever you want to go, will these people even take you? So be very careful, because even if you could leave and you just leave only to end up job hopping, I would have. So you job hop for a year rather than staying with them for a year. The question is, what were you looking for? Right. So you should have stayed in one spot, learn the game. You're that much stronger. And if you are going to make a move, make that shit count, man. Like, you got a year, buy a truck, become an owner op. If that's the next step, then when you make a move, you make it count, and then that's when you should be making moves. Just my opinion. All right. Um, how do I choose the best CDL school, and what should I be looking for? Um, I mean, I would search them, get some reviews, probably check some ratings on them, stuff like that. Make sure they're certified, all that good stuff. But I do also think that it's more about the student than the actual school. I do believe that the school is not responsible for everything. You just got to make sure that it's not those fly by night schools that are going to pay to pass or something like that, and they're just kind of making, like, pushing you through. So they're just looking to get your money. I would make sure it's not that. I would make sure that it's offering everything that it should offer, the safety, the training, everything, that they're very thorough about it. But I think it's going to be, actually, I know it's more about the student and what you can do with what's given to you. because there is no school that guarantees success. The success is within you and what you're willing to do to be successful. So while you're searching there, at some point, don't get lost in that process where you're searching for 6 months for the perfect storm, the perfect school. If you've decided, it should only your research should be limited. Go ahead and make that happen, and go for it. At the end of the day, the time is always now. Make those moves, fall forward, like just get started, do something, make it happen. All right. How long before I'm out on my own making real money? Um, all right. So I mean, this one could be a deeper topic, because real money. What is real money? I mean, I know guys in the game for 8 years and aren't making real money. It just depends. Um, what is real money to you, and how to get there, right? So if the ultimate goal, real money, means being an owner operator, then set up your time frame for that. For some people it will be faster than others because of their caliber, so exactly what you have and what you can bring to the table. um as a matter of fact, I know a guy right now who's just had his license for 3 months, and he's running his own authority. But is that for everybody? No. I mean, that guy did a lot of work ahead of time to be able to be in that position. Has the financial, he saved up the money, did whatever he had to do, and there's a lot invested. He's betting everything on himself. Has some issues, learning curves, and all of that, but he's kind of like he's already, he swam halfway across the pond already. It's like can't swim back. He's at the point of no return. So this guy's like, he will go down with that ship. And I mean, hopefully he doesn't. He does have a plan. Um, so we'll see how that ends. But at the same time, he's trying to make it happen. So there you go. So it's really gonna just depend on you and how fast you want to make it happen for yourself. So it's the mind frame. It's what you choose to pay attention to when you're in these schools, when you start your first job. All of that matters. All right. You need to find a company you want to work with, then ask them uh, which school accepts their drivers from. So some companies don't take from every school. Yeah, that's absolutely correct. So that's a good point. So there you go. You can research it that way, and going back to my previous statement, start making those phone calls today before you even have your CDL, right? So and make notes of who you talk to, what are the benefits from it. Um, and what you can take away from the program. So don't necessarily just shop around for the cheapest. Don't necessarily shop around for just that carrier that's going to give you the less time you have to deal with them, but the overall holistic the entire package they're offering you. Look at it in its entirety, and what can you, based on your behavior, based on your work ethic, based on what you can do, which one gives you the best opportunity for you to succeed and for you to thrive as quick as possible. I think that would be the most effective way to look at it. So for example, if I had to do it, and we're going through some training, I don't know, man. I would really want to see which program gets me out of being with the trainer driving teams as quick as possible. Like, what are the necessary requirements I have to hit to get out of that situation as quick as possible. Uh, that is what I would be doing, because I would want to control that myself. I wouldn't want to be stuck in that. Whether it's miles, like I don't know, somebody told me, "Hey man, you got to bang out, you know, 10,000 miles driving teams." All right, man. Like I would be so focused on putting that behind me so that I could be doing it for myself and making adjustments. So that's something I would look at, right? Or I don't know how they actually do it. Again, I'm not the guru. I don't have a school on that, so I'm not sure. Augie, what's up, man? I saw the decal on your truck and looked up your channel. Keep doing what you're doing. Hey, thank you, sir. Appreciate it, man. Comments like that go a long way, brother. We'll keep this content going for people. We definitely appreciate that. Make sure you subscribe. We got those videos coming out every day after 5 o'clock sometime, for your convenience, and that drops information good people. Share it with your fellow truckers, especially like this one. If you know newbies jumping into the game, make sure that this gets in front of them. All right. So any other questions out there, or actually, Augie, if you out there trucking, man, how did you get started, brother, man? What mega carrier did you start with? Let us know, brother, so we can talk about that real quick. I have people, looking to improve their situations and just kind of want the real deal as to which way would be better, All right, guys. So make sure you like, share, subscribe, smash that like button as well. For good opportunities. Unfortunately, I cannot take people right out of school. I wish I could, but I'm not in that position. But if you are an owner operator looking for good opportunities, you got to give us a call at 863-342-5171. Find out how our programs could actually benefit you. Everything from dispatching support all the way down to fuel cards, trailers, and everything in between, guys. We have it all from A to Z, and it includes free parking here in Florida. So definitely give us a call and make sure, and even give me a call directly after the show. I'll take your call myself, and we can probably, start talking and hopefully get something going. Put pen to paper and change it up for you. All right. So a lot of guys that are out there, man, can approach this differently. So remember, has anybody here actually done it themselves, where they already had a network of people and went to go work for a family member or somebody in their tight circle? Would you have done it different, or is there a value to that, or did you leave some good experiences on the table going to a mega carrier where their mindset is a little bit different, probably more hyper focused on safety and ensuring that the process, is different. So please do let us know. Definitely interested, so we can share it with the rest of the community here. All right. So do we have power only? No, I mean, we have trailers. We provide all our owner operators with trailers. They're company owned, so we want, we do have that trailer program. So definitely give us a call, 863-342-5171. That power only stuff, man, could be complicated. Too many deadhead miles. That's why we really don't like that. And again, want to make you successful, so you get clean, premium, top of the line equipment. All right. Why does everyone I talk to say the first year sucks? Is that true? Yeah, man, I guess because nobody likes change, right? Change is different, man, and probably getting used to being OTR is a culture shock, bucket of cold water. Like even though somebody likes to drive, is very different than you driving all day and ending up at a truck stop, and it's just a lifestyle, man. It's something different and something that you have to get used to. So it is not for everybody, that's for sure. And so you definitely have to like what you do in order to be successful, right? So uh, am I just going to be a steering wheel holder for 6 months before I see real checks? I wouldn't look at it that way, man. I would look at it like, what are you getting out of those 6 months? It's what you extract from them, not so much what they're taking from you. Yeah, you could if you never look up, but if you're asking questions, developing yourself, if, then your experience would be different, right? Uh, are these schools just trying to collect the check and push me through? Probably, probably. You just gotta remember, man, they're a business. They're a business. So at the end of the day, they're looking to fill seats. So that's no surprise. I wouldn't look at it that way. You have to know that. So any business wants customers. So there's no surprise there, right? Don't you? We want loads, so we need customers. So they need students. So they're gonna push. They're gonna sell what's gravy, right? At the end of the day, it's not so much about that. You already know that. That's not a secret. That's what I'm trying to tell you. When you come to the table, you have to know the rules of the game. Like any school would be, any school, every school advertises, and of course they're going to put all the pretty shit on the brochure. But it's not about that. Don't drink that Kool-Aid. It's about what they're offering within this. Can this serve me? And what's my plan? And regardless of what they're saying, I have a plan. I'm gonna stick to my plan, and I'm gonna get it done. All right. Uh, Mike's got a point right here to my man with the power only. So, what's the point of power only if you end up if you end up hunting trailers anyway, and then go to drop them in all the wrong places, wrong markets, and all of that. And also sometimes, you pick up a trailer, and what are you picking up? Is that trailer even, is that a rust bucket? Is it roadworthy? And now you find yourself trying to makeshift something so that trailer can work, and that's going to affect your bottom line. So that could also be problematic for sure. So you don't want to be in that position either. Will they actually teach me to drive, or just rush me through so I can haul freight for cheap? um Again, man, it's how you take it. It's what you're willing to do. It's going to be in your perspective. Of course, they're going to want to probably make it as quick as possible. But again, find out what their thresholds are, because if they said, hey, it's 10,000 miles you have to get under your belt, well, 10,000 miles is 10,000 miles. So no matter how you slice it, you got to run it, and run it legally. But if you're busy, they're going to want you on the road right away. They want you probably banging that out so that you can actually start being solo, open up a seat for a new candidate to come through. So I'm sure there's a healthy timeline for that. Not necessarily is it just to rush you through it. Somebody might feel rushed while the guy next to you thinks it's a perfect flow. Another guy might think like, man, it's just taking forever. So it's really on the beholder and like your capacity and how you're making out. So I would focus on that. What's your true capacity? How do I make sure I don't end up in a scam lease program? Easy. Check out our video on that. Lease the purchases. Go to the Super Trucker Podcast channel. We have it there. Hit video, search for it, and it will give you all the details you need to know about that, so you don't find yourself in that tight spot. So that was an easy one. Um, why do some guys end up homeless in their trucks? Is that real? Yeah, man, just bad decisions. I don't necessarily think that that's any one company's fault. I think to end up there's a lot of decisions that were met before he even met that carrier, and that leads up to that. And work ethic behind that. So that's that. Now, I have seen some successful people that, for whatever the way, based on needs and all that, and how they run their business, they actually they live in the truck. There's no house. They're like, hey man, this is what I do. So they have a nicer look. They have a new truck. They buy brand new trucks, like out the box, man, like 0 miles, all that good stuff. But because that's where they live, and that's all they need. Some guys, run their business that way. Their wives is their passenger, and there you go. So to them, it's just a different lifestyle. Not saying that's for you, just saying that, you get all kinds of scenarios that are out there. So remember, that's the beauty about what's here. Like trucking is just, there's no one silver bullet to knock all of this out. It's every situation is different. Everything is a customized situation. Everything has a customized result. There is no one magic bullet, and I think that's gonna impact turnover rate, right? Of because we're in the people business, and needs and wants are so different out there. Okay. Uh, uh, how much money am I really going to make first year? Tell me the net, not the gross. Again, my man, I have no idea which route you would take. So that's gonna be more of a question when you're actually putting pen to paper, and let's say you're signing up with the company. I don't know if they're guaranteeing you miles and how much per um, actual cents per mile. What are your dependents? All that good stuff. I'm sure if you get certain details from that carrier, or from the guy that you're going to be working for, that's simple math. Once you know their deductions and all that, and then you have your answer on that. Um, okay, so that's that. Uh, how can I build a business from trucking, or do I have to stay a company driver forever? Nah, man, you do not have to be a company driver forever. That, my friend, is a choice. Some people like that. There's a comfort that comes to that. And other people just want more. Other people are always trying to build and develop and create something regardless of the risk. Risk is always there. So it's crazy, man. Like, being broke is hard. Being rich is probably hard. Either way, they're both hard. So you just got to pick your hard, right? Like, which one do you want to be in? So I know Mike says it's a lot nicer to cry in a Mercedes than on a bike. So I agree to that. Like, but you have to pick your hard, and you got to stick to it and make sure that you're pushing through. Okay. So so again, the driver shortage, my people, is a myth. This is about supply and demand. This is making yourself marketable. We have videos about it. PSP, go check that out. Keep that clean. Keep your truck in good running condition. All of that matters. You have to make yourself marketable to take home as much as you can from this thing called trucking. So you have everything to gain if you do business properly, and you have everything to lose if you do it wrong. So you have to be paying attention to that. So again, I was your host for today. My name is Christian Martinez with Super Trucker Podcast, Voyager Nation. Give us a call at 863-342-5171 to learn more about our business partnerships with owner operators. All right, guys, be safe. Have a safe weekend. I'll catch you on that Monday. Remember, tell your dispatcher he should or she should be booking that Monday load now, because your Monday starts now. All right, guys, stay safe, drive safe. No more comments. We good? All right, my people, be good.